Today on DNVR Buffs Live, get ready to lose your mind, chat. It's projected starters day number 1, everyone's favorite day to tell us how wrong we are, and we can't wait. Let's do it.
Nation.
Let's go.
Squad. We're back, baby.
Squad back together, man. Feels great.
Big three vibes.
It feels weird, honestly. Take a week off and it's like riding a bike again. You gotta relearn everything.
I think that's the opposite of what riding a bike again is used for in other contexts.
Well, it's learning something again. Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Live.
You know what the one that was always hard for me was? First day of math after summer break.
Oh my God. That's
like, what are numbers?
Yeah, it was like, damn, this feels really hard.
No, that's hell. Yeah. That's literally what that is.
Bro, you should have seen this guy one day last week. This is like middle of the week, too. This was even the first show of the week. Just comes in, welcome into the Toyota Lounge. Ooh, just goes right past the let's go, the squad and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow, bro is acting real different without Jake.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's wild. We're glad to have you back, though, Jake.
Thanks,
I know
man.
the chat miss you. I miss you. And shout
Definitely
out to you, bro.
miss you.
Happy birthday, bro. I know
Yeah,
I said
happy
it yesterday,
birthday,
bro.
dude.
Happy glow day again. Feeling a little old yet or not?
No, bro.
Yes.
For my 33rd birthday, I decided to give myself a second job.
You did.
A
Congrats.
working man.
I'm back on the Bronco show, bro.
Yeah.
I feel younger than ever.
Go crazy.
What
Played a
else
little
did I
golf
miss?
yesterday. The weather is literally perfect in Denver last 2
is
days.
Oh,
crazy.
it's been
dog.
amazing. What else did I miss last week?
Oh, man.
Some shower discussions.
Yep.
I heard something about jeans.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
how
almost
many
forgot about
how many uses of jeans before you wash them?
A lot. I don't know.
that. Bro, not even missing words. A lot.
I do laundry every weekend, and it's like every other laundry, I wash one of the 2 pairs of jeans that I have.
That sounds about right. So I
That's
said
reasonable.
like, what'd I say, 5?
you
5
said
wears?
Yeah. But also, like, I wear my jeans when I like come here, and then I
Yeah.
go home and I take them
them
off.
off.
Like, I'm wearing for like 3 hours a day. You know
That's
what I mean?
true. That's different. Yep, that does change things. And then when you're in the shower, do you face the water or away from the water more?
Away.
Okay. What about when you're rinsing your hair?
Yeah. Then you face the,
Okay, yeah.
the shower. Yeah.
We're on the same page here.
Am I normal?
In terms of,
If I'm normal,
I mean, yeah, I face away most of the time, but I switch. I kind of rotate throughout the shower.
I think we kind of determined it's a length of hair thing.
yeah.
Because both Dion and Alyssa were like, nah, I go back to the shower when I'm rinsing my hair.
Which I get.
Oh,
for the
okay.
long hair, you know.
Never had that issue.
What tool are you using in the shower?
Whoa.
tool?
Pause.
Yeah.
I kind of knew that was crazy coming out, but I'm like, I'm gonna say it anyway. You a loofah guy?
God.
You a wash rag kind of guy, or you just use a bar of soap, use your hand, or
Just use the hands, brother.
Pause again.
I had a feeling that was gonna be your answer too, bro.
Like I said, bro, the white community is far behind in this category.
You should. I would recommend just infusing maybe a wash rag potentially. Just try it out, bro. See how it works for you. It might not be
I've
for you.
used one
but-
before.
Okay, all right. So you've gone down that path.
have.
And you just weren't a fan.
I
You just said this hand will do, huh?
mean, my hair is like not even an inch long, and then I just rub soap everywhere.
Yeah, but you gotta. It's fine. We'll talk about this later.
Fair enough.
Crazy.
Fair enough.
All right. Yep. Get mad. Get angry. One rule with this. You can tell us we're wrong. You can get angry at us, but you have to tell us why, and you have to tell us which player you would have in that spot. You can't just yell at us.
Right. You can't say that so-and-so as a starter is crazy.
Yeah.
Or not having so-and-so in there is crazy, because then you got to say who you would take out to put them in.
Exactly. So now that we have that settled, we're going to start with the offense. We'll do defense second segment. We got some other stuff to hit in the third segment, but starting with the offense, do we just start with the quarterback? Do we just go into this?
Sure. It's going to take probably the rest of the segment.
It's going to take a lot of this segment. I picked Kaidon Salter.
Okay. Explain.
Explain. The guy is he's coming in with 1 year to play. I don't think he's here if he's not going to start, first off. Second off, they have to run the ball better, and I don't think that happens without Kaidon Salter under center because of his athletic ability and dual threat ability.
Yeah, I also went with Kaidon Salter here for my projected starting quarterback to start the season. I think his experience, his versatility, his dual threat ability is really something I think this offense is going to need. Absent obviously Shedeur Sanders and what he can do as a pure pocket passer. I feel like this offense is going to have to get creative in terms of how they move the ball on the ground, and Kaidon is just simply a weapon. I think it would be a mistake to obviously recruit him out of the transfer portal. He was one of the most highly rated recruits out of the transfer portal at that quarterback position. And I think it would just be a mistake to get him to Boulder and not utilize his skill set because to use a basketball analogy, like he kind of has a deep bag. Like he can do a lot of different things on the football field in different ways. So I think at this point, we're not ruling out Julian Lewis. This is the future face of the program, like a legitimate 5-star, like a program changer. But this is somebody also who should be starting their senior year of high school in a couple months, competing with a guy who's literally been playing college football for the last 4 to 5 years. So I just think that gap in experience should give Kaidon, at least out the gate, the nod.
So obviously I'm already overruled here in a best of 3 scenario, but I'm going with Julian Lewis, and to me it's a mixture of a few things. One, it's everything that I've heard about him is just like he's not going to lose a competition. The way that people talk about him being just built a certain way, and of course when you look at the tape and you see the stats, like it makes sense that he's just built different. The dude went out as a true freshman high school quarterback and set the all-time record for passing yards in the highest level of Georgia football. That doesn't happen unless you're a true phenom, a true prodigy. And he obviously is. The other thing, and this is the most important one to me, is going from Shedeur Sanders to Kaidon Salter is going to be a shock to the system for coaches and players. And it's just, we've talked, Shedeur Sanders is the most accurate passer in college football history.
Yeah.
Kaidon Salter, if there's one weakness of its game, it's his accuracy. Julian Lewis, maybe the biggest strength of his game is accuracy.
No doubt.
And if you remember those conversations that Coach Prime used to have with Shedeur right before the game, whenever we'd get a little clips of him, he'd just be like, take the completion.
Yep.
Completion, just stack completions, just get string completions together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that when these two guys get into a head-to-head competition, Julian is just going to stack completions more consistently. And I think that Coach Prime is going to really value that when he's deciding who wins this competition.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not like ruling out Julian at all. I'm not even really picking a side. I'm just telling you what I think. At this point,
right.
I think it's Kaidon Salter who will be the starting quarterback for this team. But, I mean, what you just said, everything that Julian, we've seen from him, heard about him, he's just different, man. And so you can't rule it out that Julian would not be starting for this team this year. Like, it's entirely a possibility. And this competition, I mean, the more I think about it, like, this isn't going to be settled, I think, even through, I don't know, pick a game this season. Like, there's going to be people who want Julian to start. It's going to be the last game. We're going to be going to a bowl game. And they're going, play Julian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we see both, but it's going to be very interesting for that reason because Julian's just different.
It's going to be a great competition. And It's certainly not that I don't believe in Kaidon, and I honestly think that they're going to work heavily with him on trying to improve his accuracy. And there's a chance that if he does improve it, he becomes, like some people have mentioned, a Heisman candidate. I mean, his legs combined with an accurate passing arm would be deadly and completely like change the arc for this team potentially. So I'm excited to see what these guys do. Regardless, as we've said a million times, it's a win-win situation for Colorado to have two really good quarterbacks fighting for that spot.
And I think it's a mistake too to talk about and think about Kaidon as a finished project. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's obviously played a lot of football, but this is somebody, to your point, like, who can improve, add 4 to 5 points potentially to his completion percentage. This is somebody who can become more of a polished, more consistent passer, down in and down out. And also too, the fact that Coach Prime has alluded to this when talking about the quarterbacks that he's targeting, talking about Julian and Kaidon. Like, he wants a winner at that position. And obviously we know that's what Julian is at his core, but that's also Kaidon Salter as well.
20-4, I think.
21-5.
Yes.
Like, that'll play. That'll do. And again, there's probably times too where Kaidon probably didn't have the most talented roster in terms of the team he was playing against, but he obviously made it do what it do. And again, he's going to have the best supporting cast he's ever had in terms of guys to throw the ball to, in terms of protection. And protection is another thing too that I think we can't really forget about. Shedeur was sacked damn near 100 times over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a grown man to take that type of physical beating. And again, we all expect the offensive line to be improved. We don't expect whoever's under center this year to be sacked, 40 plus times like Shedeur was here in 2024. But the physical beating that position requires, or that position takes, from a physical perspective, especially if, not just sitting back in the pocket, but again, having to extend plays, take hits. That's something we took for granted that Shedeur was able to do, week in and week out. But that's something that whoever is going to be under center is going to have in their bag as well. And obviously, I think Kaidon already has that, and Julian is going to have that as well. He's going to grow that as well, but he might not have that from day one,
And that weapons improvement should give him 2 to 3 points of completion alone.
100%.
Yeah, that, and honestly, if you go watch him at Liberty too, it's the difference between Colorado's wide receivers what Liberty was throwing out at wide receiver, especially last year. It's divisions of football apart.
He's probably already experiencing it right now, just working out with some of the guys.
He's probably like, oh my God. Yeah.
For real.
For sure.
Yeah. Good problem to have. And I think just before we get off this, like, I've talked about this too. One of the coolest things Coach Prime, I feel like, has done for this program is bring consistency and a comfortability to the most important position on the field. Like, prior to obviously Shedeur Sanders, I would say quarterback was probably a bit of a problem in terms of getting high-end talent to this program. You get 2 years to Shedeur Sanders, the best quarterback in college football, and then to follow that up, you get quite literally a 5-star quarterback phenom. And if he's not ready right away from day one, you have one of the best portal quarterbacks, one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in college football. It's a good spot to be in.
Amen.
Definitely. All right, staying in the backfield, I think we actually have a clean sweep here. Michael Welsh?
Yep. And this is such a...
Right.
It's such a by committee thing.
Absolutely.
We could have put 3 names on there,
committee.
but we try to challenge ourselves to actually choose one. So when pressed, we came to the conclusion of Michael Welsh.
Also, this was, back when I was last on the show, I think. Do you remember when we talked about that Marshall Faulk interview with the Rich Eisen show? Rich's wife, Susie, was the one doing the interview.
Yeah.
But Marshall was talking about how, it's kind of an old school approach to the running back position because he definitely went through it. But he was talking about when he was a freshman at San Diego State, he was like 6 on the depth chart or whatever. He had to work his way up, right? But you need carries. Like, he's saying these guys who get like 10 carries a game, like, you can't really evaluate them on that. He wants to focus, I think, on having a true lead back. So I do think there will be a rotation at this position, but I do think that in this case, Michael Welsh, if he emerges as the starter, he could be getting at least 15, probably 20 plus touches a game.
And it's funny that sounds like a lot.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Like, that's a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels like a lot to us at this point. There were several games last year where the starting running back got less than 10 carries.
Yep.
And I'm with Marshall Faulk, and I've mentioned this before, but every running back I've ever talked to doesn't like the by committee approach, doesn't like the hot hand thing. It's like, let me go out there and just feel the game for the first quarter. And like, you got to keep giving me carries after that so I can adjust, especially back in the day when these guys would get, upwards of 30 carries in a game.
Right.
It's like a slot machine theory, like you got to keep playing the slot. You're not going to hit the jackpot on the first pull of the slot machine.
Yep.
King Mars got the scoreboard up right now. It's a tie game. But no, I mean, I think Michael Welch just has the highest ceiling in terms of this running back room. And like you guys mentioned, I do think this will be a running back by committee approach, at least to start the season. You got to see what you have in live situations, out of all of these guys. And you want to see it, from Marshall Faulk's lenses too. What he sees, what he's looking for out of that position. I think Dallin Hayden could potentially be like a real weapon on third down because of his pass protection ability, his ability to catch the football as well. And Isaiah Gustav, like he had a pretty strong finish to the season.
He did.
And that could be something that leads into a successful 2025 season as well. So I think this running back room is in good hands.
He's going to really have to improve his pass catching.
Yeah.
If he's going to be Marshall Faulk's favorite.
I agree. Yep. But Isaiah looked fast, man.
He was great.
He looks fast too, at least this offseason. And that'll be something that I'm sure Marshall Faulk will like in him.
And hands can be improved.
Yeah, and they didn't really have opportunities last year at that too, right?
100%.
Totally.
So, all right, let's take our first break. Not so much more arguments for some of these spots. Some of them, though. Yes, we haven't forgot about Brandon Hood, trust me. Shout out to our friends over at Lucy. Some of the best nicotine or the best nicotine products in the game. If you hit up lucy.co/DNVR and use the promo code DNVR, you'll also get 20% off your first order. They have a 30-day refund policy too if you change your mind. But they've got some great flavors. The mango one, the apple ice are my favorite. You're a mint guy.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Espresso? They call it?
Was a good one too.
Yep. So check them out, man. It's like beer or bar hopping season almost,
Yeah,
Got to have your Lucy's ready.
that's true.
Again, that's lucy.co. Use code DNVR to get 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Also, shout out to Toyota. You already know. Zach and I actually on the Broncos show were debating Land Cruiser or 4Runner. You guys have a pick?
Supra.
Land Cruiser or 4Runner? You guys have a pick?
4Runner.
Which one was at the Super Bowl?
Land Cruiser.
I'm a Land
Oh,
Cruiser
then that
guy.
one.
Yeah, right. Facts, that one.
They look similar though. They're both sick. I think I'm still on the 4Runner train, but that Land Cruiser is sick. If you guys haven't checked it, go to the website, look at all their new models. They have beautiful, beautiful cars, and they're the most reliable, the best features. I can't say enough about them. So if you want to test drive one and then eventually get one for yourself, go visit a Front Range Toyota store at a location near you, including AutoNation, Arapahoe, and Centennial, Corwin Toyota and Boulder, Groove Toyota and Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East and Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West and Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. By the way, are we going back to the old way of the ads?
The old way.
Well, like in the note instead of on the thing?
Today something happened.
Okay, all right.
Out of my control, brother.
I didn't say it was.
I'm just telling you.
I like it in the notes.
I like it the other way.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm still gonna be doing the notes because I like the notes too.
Get it both.
All right. So we got Michael Welch at running back, Kaidon Salter at quarterback. The wide receiver, I think, is pretty easy, and I think we've all got the same three: Omari Miller, Draylon Miller, and Joseph Williams.
What a freaking trio.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And, actually, I was listening to Uncle Neely and Big Dog Chico and our guy Philip Dukes actually this morning, and I just tuned in for a little bit, and they were actually talking about the receivers a little bit, and Unc was talking about how Coach Jason Phillips, the receivers coach at Colorado, had mentioned to Unc that obviously you're losing a lot of production out of the receiver room, but he feels like, and he being Coach Phillips, that production is still there in the room in terms of the ability, the potential at that room. And I think obviously those three guys that we're talking about, it's Miller time, both the Millers, Omarion and Draylon, plus Joseph Williams. That's an elite trio. And Jake, I've told this to RK last week, and I brought it up another time after that. But Joseph Williams, November,
Yeah, he went crazy.
crazy
Yeah.
dog.
No, he didn't even play his first 4 games last year.
I know, bro. And 3 straight games in November it makes you think that he's on an upward trajectory, and that this 2025 season, his true sophomore season, could be really scary in the best way possible.
He's sick, man. Yes, you do. I mean, I'd switch Joseph
Yeah.
and Draylon, but
Yeah,
Yes.
just swap Joseph. Yeah, Joseph and Julian. Yeah.
What's crazy about this is that's a big league starting 3, if you will.
yeah.
If you're going with a tight end on the field. And then you just have it in waves behind them. So
yeah.
much talent, so many possibilities, so many different mix-ups you can do. You can go heavy speed by getting Cam Michael and Quentin Gibson on the field.
Facts.
There's just so much you can do. But these 3 guys, obviously Joseph Williams came here to do big things. Omarion Miller has already shown the ability to do big things. Draylon Miller proved it out of any of the young guys the most last year. And that's just the start. But I think those 3 have a leg up. By the way, that's a sizable group right there.
Oh, that's a big receiving core.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I'd throw Quanell in there. The chat's already thrown him in there. I think he's going to make an impact as a true freshman.
Terrell
as well.
Timmons will definitely probably be in the
Timmons,
top 5 as
yep.
well.
Yep.
I mean, Isaiah Harge. We can go on and on.
Yeah.
Tight end, another pretty easy one. Zach Atkins. He could basically be the player who really unlocks this offense, makes this offense that much harder to guard.
Yep.
I feel like he's going to make Pat Shurmur's job hopefully a lot easier in terms of allowing him to be more versatile in the personnel groupings that he puts out there on the field, and more versatile and just the plays that he calls. I think, Zach Atkins is going to help in the play action game. He has the ability to split out and kind of give you a different look as kind of a true receiver, but his true value, I think, is being potentially like a 6th offensive lineman on the field and, helping you add another number into the run game. And especially, again, we're talking about Kaidon kind of adding another number into the run game as well. I mean, that could be something special with Zach Atkins and Kaidon Salter at quarterback and all the options you have on the perimeter.
Zach Atkins literally can transform the offense.
Dog. You can make an argument that he is the most impactful transfer in terms of what he could potentially do and impact the team.
Yeah, like if he's a hit,
Yeah,
it's transformative.
no doubt.
Okay, the offensive line is pretty easy too, I think.
Maybe.
There's some, maybe, I think there's going to be some names that the chat will throw out.
At least Scott and I agreed on 4 out of the 5.
I don't know.
No, don't start with me, bro. Don't start with me.
I don't know, but all right, I'll let you go with that for sure.
Left tackle, Jordan Seaton.
Well, no.
I mean, not to just gloss over Seat, but
We did a whole segment on him on Friday.
okay, sweet.
You know who played the most offensive snaps for Colorado in 2024?
Had to have been Jordan.
Jordan Seaton, man.
Yeah.
As a true freshman, dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
Crazy.
Gonna be special this year.
What?
What?
I'm not touching that one.
This is not you, bro.
Okay, left guard, I've got Aki Ogunbiwi, former Texas A&M guard. He played a lot of left guard. He's played in like 30 career games, I think. But do you have the number on the starts, Scotty?
It's single-digit starts.
But he's played in a lot of games.
20-plus
Yes.
games, and primarily at left guard for A&M. And again, this is a guy who's played college football 3 to 4 years. I mean, he's coming here to Colorado to get an increased role. And again, I think at that left guard spot, the spot that he's most familiar with, the spot that he's played the most football in, at least at the college level, I think he is a kind of a natural fit to slide in there at left guard right next to Big C.
By the way, a lot of good internal buzz around Okunbiwi.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
random people, like unsolicited people saying good things about him to me.
8 starts for Okunbiwi at left guard in the SEC, 23 career games played.
Right guard, I've got Zy Chrysler.
Grizzler.
The Chrysler. Played at Illinois. I think he started 20-some games, right?
28 starts at right guard at Illinois for Zy Chrysler. Also started 2 games at right tackle, so there's some position versatility there as well with him. But I think Chrysler has the ability to be looked at as the second best offensive lineman on this team here in 2025. I think he has the ability to be dominant at right guard and potentially be used at right tackle if need be. And I think he's going to really solidify this group up front.
We do have some. We have to have a discussion here at center and right tackle. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at center.
Yep.
I've got Zarian McGill.
Okay.
The former Louisiana Tech center. He's also played a lot of football. He's also like 320 pounds. I think there's a massive emphasis on especially the interior of the offensive line being bigger and meaner so that you can actually run the ball, have that be a calling card a bit. No disrespect to Cash, obviously, All-American, freshman All-American last year and stuff, but I think they brought in these bigger offensive linemen for a reason.
Yeah, Cash is going to have his hands full with this battle. And I just have a feeling about him. I have a feeling that he's just going to be one of those guys that you just can't keep off the field. And he really showed that. I know we've mentioned it before, but I always have to mention just how ridiculous it is. His first reps with the first team happened in a game.
Yeah.
Didn't even get a practice snapping the ball to Shedeur Sanders. And he steps in against Arizona and performs impressively and really started prying the job out of into his own hands. So I've got a good feeling about Cash. I just think you can't keep Cash off the field.
I'm Team Cash as well, man. I feel the same way about him that you do, Arcade. Like, this is somebody who was the starting center at IMG Academy. The following season, he's the starting center at Colorado for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like this is an upward trajectory here. And again, he started the final 4 games of the season. And again, I feel like that's just the type of momentum, the type of trust that you can build and kind of go into this next season. He only allowed 1 sack on the year, 230 plus pass blocking snaps. That'll play. He obviously needs to add more mass, and I think everybody expects him to do that, especially with Andrew Swayze in the building. And we know that this is a hard worker. And again, especially at that center spot, your ability to put everybody in the right spot, get everybody going in the right direction, identifying blitzes, knowing 100% of the time what your responsibility is and what the guys next to your responsibility are to get the offense in the best position possible play after play. Like, that's a center's job, and Cash showed the ability to do that as a true freshman, as an 18, 19-year-old, whatever it is. And Zarian McGill will be involved, whether that be at center or guard, because he has the ability to play guard as well. As somebody who's played a lot of football in McGill, he was really good in pass protection last season as well. Only allowed 5 quarterback pressures on more than 250 pass blocking snaps last year. So McGill can play, and he will be involved. But in terms of the starting center, I think if Cash put on 15 to 20 pounds before week 1, which I think is more than possible, I think he'll be the starting center.
For right tackle,
Jeez.
I kind of called a shot here. I said Carday Smith. I think that I've just seen a lot of people, a lot of recruiting, insiders of the sort say that this is the type of player who's ready to go right away, kind of like Jordan was last year. And I think that, the other candidate, Phillip Houston, we just don't know if he's healthy yet.
Yeah.
So I think Carday, if he has anywhere close to what Jordan had in terms of the offseason, in terms of growing his body, just picking up the playbook, I think he'll be the right tackle.
If I could pick, I would pick Carday Smith.
Yeah.
And say this guy absolutely grinds, puts the work in, shows out in fall camp and spring ball, transforms his body like Jordan Seaton did, and gets that start. But there's a senior on the team who played last year, and I think it's going to be an interesting storyline to follow if he can hold off the young gun. But it would be great for the team if Carday Smith steals this spot.
Yep.
It would be awesome if Carday Smith, if it got to a point before week 1 where it's like he's the best right tackle on the team. He has to start right away from day 1, and you can kind of get a Jordan Seaton kind of 2.0 going here, but not everybody is Jordan Seaton. And again, not that Carday can't, reach the heights that Jordan did as a true freshman, but I think Jordan is truly kind of 101. And when we're talking about that, being able to start and be dominant almost at times right away as a true freshman, particularly at that tackle spot. So I'm giving the nod to Phillip Houston. I think I was skeptical a bit about him early on in the season, but he showed the ability to kind of settle in, and obviously he's made 9 straight starts before his season ended early, and he kind of settled in nicely, both in the run game. He struggled a bit in pass protection at certain points, but that's to be expected. I feel like, again, assuming he can get back 100% from this injury and is ready for week 1, that's who I would have penciled in at right tackle, Phillip Houston.
I'm going to actually call my shot on someone completely different.
Do it.
Give me Flapjack Owens.
Fair enough.
I see it.
I was getting, information on him really showing out last year.
Yep.
Another year to get into even better shape. True, NFL potential in terms of his size at the position. So it doesn't help us make the graphic to have 3 different people. So we'll just go with the easy one, but I'm going to call my shot on Flapjack.
I saw a pic of him recently, too. Looks like he's really, slimmed down, in a good way. Looks more cut and fit, which is could be a
Colorado
problem.
Strength Program, man.
Hey, this is
Monetai Mani also?
Yep. I've heard great things about him as well. What were you saying?
He'll be in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Kareem Harden will be in the mix at guard as well.
Yes.
Bro,
Tyler Brown will also be in the mix at guard as well.
we saw that video, Kareem Harden with the drop step dunk
Off,
at the wreck. That blew my mind.
off vert pretty much too.
Yes. Drop step.
1 step vert, 2 hands. Yeah.
Crazy.
Kareem's kind of explosive. But a trade just went down in the NFL. Obviously, it's open in a free agency trade or free agency. That could potentially, I think, have some
For sure.
involvement with Colorado. Eagles are trading quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns for a 2025 5th-round pick and quarterback DTR.
Irrelevant.
So the Browns get their backup quarterback for Shedeur Sanders and Kenny Pickett potentially. That's interesting.
Very. DTR to the Eagles is kind of exciting.
It's a great fit for
It's a
him.
great backup for Jalen Fags.
Chauncey Gooden is someone I think who could also make an impact.
No doubt.
This offensive line has clearly gotten a lot better.
They got dudes.
Kind of want to call my shot on Chauncey Gooden somewhere too, but I just don't know where.
I mean, he fits exactly what I thought they brought in the transfers for, just getting bigger and meaner on the interior. He could definitely do that if he's ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Man.
Let's take our next break. Shout out to Coors Light. It is damn near prime Coors Light season out here in Denver, Colorado.
For real.
We've go ahead.
It is.
We've got a beautiful forecast this week. Up until Friday. We're at like 65 degrees up until Friday. That's Coors Light weather.
It is.
If you manage to go to a Rockies game, go to the Coors Bar.
Can't wait.
Crush them up there and just have a great time.
Bro, I was so I have this long break between my first show of the day and this show. So I was like, I just need a little like mind clearing move here. So I walked to the coffee shop across the street. I don't know if you guys noticed, they have a patio in the back.
Really?
And I was sitting in the patio and just thinking like, wow, we've officially reached Coors Light on the patio season.
It's
For real.
If we haven't reached it, we're damn close. So hit up our friends at Coors Light over at CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Get it delivered straight to your door from Instacart, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You want to know one of the problems with Coors Light on the patio? When you want another one, you got to go back inside.
Into the fridge, yep.
Or you could just pull out your Rugged Road cooler, stock that thing full of ice, full of Coors Lights, and have them on the patio all day without having to move, which is my kind of way to spend a beautiful day outside. They've got lightweight, durable coolers that always float upright. So if you want to float with your cooler, bring your Rugged Road. That thing's going to float perfectly upright, and make sure that you don't lose any beers in the water. It's a beautiful thing. So leave that old heavy cooler at home. Get yourself a better cooler for the next season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion.
You ever been floating on a
Oh, yeah, all the
river or
time.
something? All the time?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I mean, like at least once a summer.
It was it's a pretty big thing in my college town. Like it's a big river that runs through our college town called the Chippewa River.
Yeah.
So it was a popular thing that, obviously we would get tubes and float down the river. It was remind me of that time. It was good times.
It's great. Yeah, up in Steamboat, they have the Yampa River, and it's a great float.
Yeah.
Defensive starters. I think the back seven is all easy, so we'll start there if we can, Alyssa. Right? Do we have any contention in the back seven?
No, not from us.
No.
Okay.
Linebackers and DBs, we're all uniform there.
We'll start with the corners. Outside, you got DJ McKinney and Colton Hood. In the slot, you got Preston Hodge. One of, if not the best returning trio in college football.
Yep.
They're going to be locked down.
You know who played the most defensive snaps for Colorado last season?
DJ McKinney.
Yeah.
DJ McKinney. What a dog. He's in for a huge 2025.
Can't remember him ever not being out there. Might have got them all.
Started all 13 games, and I don't remember a time that he wasn't out there on the field. So that is, he's in for a huge 2025. So is Colton Hood. Preston Hodge is obviously back. His return, I think, kind of solidified the fact that this is going to be one of the best secondaries in college football. DJ was top 4 in the Big 12 in pass deflections, top 4 in the Big 12 in interceptions. He had an interception in 3 of the last 4 games of the season?
Yeah.
Like, that's
forgot.
the momentum that you could build into the next season.
I mean, damn, man. Coach called him a first-round pick this time last year.
And people were like, no way, he can have all. Yeah, it's that for sure.
In the secondary, one newcomer in Tawfiq Bayard, and then Carter Stoutmeyer getting back there. Finally not playing slot and corner and safety. Just put him at safety. Shoulders look good to go. Going off just what we saw as a true freshman from him 2 years ago when he was back there at safety. If he can refine that form, this is a damn good safety duo.
He don't get enough credit, Carter doesn't, for literally starting at 2 different positions.
Yes.
Starting at safety for Shiloh Sanders and then starting at nickel corner for Preston Hodge. When we talk about that position is arguably the toughest spot on defense to play.
Yeah.
And obviously he had his struggles that time in coverage at nickel corner. Particularly the BYU, the Alamo Bowl kind of sticks out in my mind. But this is somebody who is, at this point, really polished, and is showing you real versatility to cover guys, to come up and play in the box like a Shiloh Sanders. So Carter, and he also played the 4th most special teams on the team as well. So this is somebody who is going to be a mainstay for this defensive unit on special teams as well.
I think, Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Carter also start opposite Travis against TCU at corner?
I think you're right. He did, yeah.
I know he played corner, his freshman year. I didn't know. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he did start week 1 of his freshman year.
Wow.
Yeah, he played a lot as a true freshman early on.
Sure.
Yeah.
The chat's also throwing out Savion Riley at safety.
Yes.
Only hard thing about that, not that this can't be tweaked because safety becomes more and more interchangeable. Last year, Savion was playing Cam's position.
Yes.
Tawfiq Bayard also plays Cam's position. So you could get both those guys out on the field, of course, if you wanted to. But on the flip side, Carter played Shiloh's position.
Right. Antonio Branch Jr. coming in as a true freshman as well. RJ Johnson also going to be a factor. At cornerback, Tawfiq Bayard. Makari Vickers, the transfer from Oklahoma. I think he's going to easily be in the top 4 rotation.
Who y'all think played the most? I'm just quizzing y'all today. Who do y'all think played the most special team snaps on the team? It's somebody you just mentioned here in the last 4 or 5 names or so.
Then it must have been RJ.
RJ Johnson. That was kind of surprising to me.
That is surprising.
Kind of a mainstay on special teams. Like, that's something that you build and trust to get out there on the field on special teams. That's something that I can see kind of, again, bleeding into 2025 for some momentum for him.
I remember that, though, because he would just go make plays, and I would be like, who's number 5 for, the first 3 weeks of the season? And I'm like, oh, and, didn't have to think about it after that.
Right.
Felt like he was constantly showing up on special teams around the ball, and I'm like, there he is again.
Yeah.
Some inexperience in the cornerback room, though, after those top 4. Ivan Yates, he's someone who's played a lot of football, actually, though. He's going to be a senior. But Isaiah Harge, Malachi Murphy, Ben Boozy, Cole Mathis, they're still in the fold as well. Linebacker, this is pretty easy, I think. It's the 2 transfers they brought in, Reggie Hughes.
I wouldn't say it's easy.
I think it is, and Martavius French.
I think Jalen West is going to have something to say about that.
And some would probably say JB too.
And JB.
Mm-hmm.
Mantrez Walker. Okay, let's debate. First edge. I've got Arden Walker.
Look, this is going to come down to so much of what they're looking for, and it's very interchangeable in my opinion. They're going to be throwing these guys out there in waves like they did last year. Arden Walker, though, I think honestly for 2 straight years has been the most consistent player at the position.
Probably, yeah.
So I think as he continues to become a little more skillful and develop his bag of moves, I think that he has a great chance to start here. But Tajay McCoy could start here. You can go down the list and think of other candidates that could make noise at that position.
I think Arden's a lock to start at one of these edge spots. I mean, second on the team in sacks last year, 4.5. He was the second highest ranked edge defender in the entire Big 12 last season, according to Pro Football Focus. So this is another example of somebody to me, as the season went on, it looked like he was building momentum. He was playing his best football late down the stretch of this season. So I think Arden is he's going to be in for a big year 2025, his senior year as well. So I like Arden here at the edge, locked in for sure as a starter.
RK gets overruled, or not overruled, but majority ruled on Arden Walker.
No, I didn't vote against Arden.
Well, let's do the other edge then.
Let's do it.
I have Tajay McCoy.
Okay.
Explain yourself, buddy.
I just think Tajay McCoy, he's been building up to this, man. We've seen the flashes along the way, but it's time now for Tajay to go out there and just be something they haven't really had on the edge, just like super bendy. They've been playing a lot of bigger guys on the edge. I think you're going to get a lot more athleticism, kind of similar to Arden, but even more so out of Tajay McCoy. I think he's someone who could really explode off the edge and give a lot of tackles problems with his bend and speed. So I think it's just time for Tajay.
I think maybe the hardest part of this whole exercise is not having Tajay on the field because I'm equally as excited about him as you are. That being said, I got Sammy Sachs here. He's like the prototype of what you want in college from a player at this position and potentially even at the next level as well. I think he showed it in flashes last year, and this is the year that he puts it all together and gets really consistent out there. Like I said, all of these guys are going to play, including Keaton Wade as well, and maybe even Brandon Davis-Swain. You're going to see a lot of guys play this position, but I think if we got to settle on 2, Arden Walker and Sam Okunlola is good. Such a great starting duo.
It's really good.
It's nasty. Okunlola would be my pick. I mean, boy started 10 games last year, was obviously the week 1 starter as well. 3 sacks I think is kind of his floor, which is what he did last year. I think this is somebody who could easily double his sack total here in 2025. He had 7 tackles for loss as well. Again, I think Tajay is going to play a huge role. He's a breakout candidate on the defensive side of the ball for me. I think Keaton Wade, obviously, like you mentioned, can be discounted as well. He missed the first 6 games of the year, played obviously the last 6 games of the year. In that 6-game span, 7.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. 3rd on the team. Like, that'll play. Imagine that over a full 12, 13-game sample size. Like, Keaton Wade has the ability to be a real game wrecker, especially with Robert Livingston calling the shot. So this edge room is deep. This defensive line room as a whole, I think, is the most talented, deepest position on the team. But for edge, starting out the gate, I like Arden and Sammy Sachs. It's a nasty duo.
Edge room's outrageous with those guys. I mean, we didn't even mention Quincy Wiggins, London Merritt, Alex McPherson. Where do they end up? Could one of those freshmen end up breaking into the starting lineup? A lot of potential, a lot of excitement for that edge room. Defensive tackle. Jaheim Otis, we're all
locked
in with Jaheim Otis.
Lock him in.
Okay. Not to gloss over him. I mean, we've talked a lot about him. He's got.
I kind of think that Jaheim Otis is low key getting hype as like internally as like second best player on the team potentially.
I could totally see that. He's the one guy that like the national like analysts when they talk about like changes for Colorado, they always mention Jaheim Otis.
Yep.
He was a problem at Bama 2 years ago.
Yeah.
An absolute problem.
That's really exciting.
He's played in 30 games. Played in 30 games at Alabama.
Yeah.
13 starts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's somebody who's played a lot of football. And again, you're coming to Colorado to get coached by Warren Sapp and Domata Peko. because you got aspirations of playing at the next level. And those two guys are going to unlock something different. I think in Otis, he's going to be motivated to, help his game reach a different level. And this is a locked in starter for sure, who could be a real problem.
And I hate to propagate the gap between the SEC and the Big 12, but there's one place where it really shows. It's in the trenches. Yeah. And so the matchups that he's going to draw in the Big 12 oftentimes are going to be a lot more favorable for him even than the ones that he was getting at Alabama, where you say he was a problem.
Yep. The other defensive tackle. So I'd have Jaheim Otis as the 3 technique, kind of playing over the guard. And I'd put in a bigger guy playing, 0 to 1 right over the center.
Bigger than Jaheim Otis?
I mean,
who bigger than Jaheim Otis?
Well, this is the thing with Jaheim Otis. He's kind of like slimmed down too over the few years. Like he's not.
I'd be interested to see what they list him at when this roster. Oh, what do they have him at right now on the roster?
On Colorado's roster?
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Because
that's what he was playing his last year at Alabama. Was more 3 technique stuff. He started off as like a nose 1 tech because he was.
Yeah.
He came into Bama like 360, I think.
Yeah.
He was ginormous. But he's really like slimmed down and. Just really fit into his body recently. I can't find this
because I'd put Jaheim right over that center and that 1 technique. You feel me? Like make that center's life a living hell. Put consistent pressure on that pocket on the opposing quarterback. So I would have him as my 1 technique nose tackle, if you will. And for my other starter, I would have Amari McNeil.
Colorado has him listed at 6'5", 320.
So who would be your bigger option there to go at nose?
Torian Carter is who I'd say.
Explain.
Because he's massive. He's a grown man. I mean, literally. This
he
guy's
actually is like by age a grown man.
No, that's exactly why. He's 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
He was already coming in last year as a graduate transfer, got hurt early on. Now he's back. I mean, he's just going to have grown man strength over some of these guys he lines up against.
Yeah.
I get that. Torian Carter's he's going to play a role. He's going to be in that defensive tackle, defensive line rotation for sure. But and Amari McNeil is just he's my play there. Like this is another guy who I would lock in as like a certified day 1 starter for this team here, or week 1 starter here in 2025. Like that Texas Tech game just is burned in my brain. And again, he won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week for that performance. Finished his season with 6 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. And again, I just feel like that's just floored too, because again, especially early on in the season, he wasn't really in the rotation. Later in the year before his season ended with an injury, missing the final 2 games, like he seemed like he was really figuring things out and becoming really dominant, at that point of attack, that 3 technique. So I think Amari McNeil is in for a big year.
I sided with you on this one based on everything you said. I'll also throw in Anquin Barnes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
As a potential, bigger option there.
Yeah.
Gabriel Lightfoot.
Yep.
Can't rule out either of the transfers, Lightfoot or Tavian Coleman.
Tavian Coleman's over 300 pounds too.
Yeah. Played a lot of football.
Another place where you're just going to see a lot of rotation. And that's such a luxury because these big boys wear out.
Right. Got to rotate them.
Being able to rotate those guys in and out is a very big luxury.
Let's not forget Toffee Thomas either, who
Toffee
literally played in all 13 games for Colorado here in 2024. He's back as well. So this room is nasty, man.
And then, of course, throw in the young guys. I mean, we'll see again where London Merritt and Alex McPherson end up, but Christian Hudson.
Yeah.
He came in, and he's going to be a defensive tackle. Chijoke Nwankwo.
Yep.
He's going to be in the fold. He was, I believe, a walk-on last year, but he's got another year to grow into his body as well. There you go. How do you feel?
Pretty tame in the chat.
Huh? I just think the chat realizes what we've been trying to nail home this entire offseason so far, and it's that just top to bottom, this roster's a lot better.
That exercise was exciting.
Euphoric, if you will.
Yes. That felt really good to go through that and get to positions where there was probably a couple times where we forgot to name a guy who's actually really good.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so much discussion about the quarterbacks because that's what everyone loves to talk about. Mm-hmm. And the coolest part of it is that the rest of the roster is so much better.
Yep.
And that could be the complete difference in what this team's record looks like at the end of the year.
No, definitely.
All right. Spring practice starts tomorrow. There's so much stuff to get to, though. I don't know if we're going to get to all this in the next couple of days. Julian Lewis won high school quarterback of the year.
Hell yeah.
We've got 2 games that have been moved to Friday as well.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quickly on Julian. We said it after the show on Friday, but Coach Prime and this recruiting staff landed the high school quarterback of the year in the National Max Preps Player of the Year in Quentin Gibson.
Yes.
2 different guys.
And 2 different guys, yeah.
And they said that he couldn't
one
recruit.
class with 0 in-home visits.
Yep.
Crazy.
Got it done. Crazy.
2 games have been moved to Friday. The season opener against Georgia Tech will be on
You think
August.
we didn't cover the X's and O's while you were gone?
What do you mean?
They're just the notes. That happened like last Wednesday.
We didn't. I don't think we talked about it on the show. Though.
I was asking.
We did.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I remember writing it on the note, but I don't remember actually talking about it.
All right, maybe you're right. Maybe we didn't.
I don't think we did, bro.
Maybe we didn't
Either
cover
way.
the note.
Season
think we
opener
did.
will be played Friday, August 29th, and then the first Big 12 game, the Big 12 opener. It's actually the 3rd game of the season. 4th game will be a non-conference game, but the Houston game, Friday, November 12th.
What'd you say
talked
about
about
it?
it
Sorry,
so much.
September
I
12th.
said, one, that it's a dub that the Houston game is at night,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like all off
air.
Yeah.
And then 2, I said that I love the Friday night games because you get the whole weekend to watch the other college football games.
Right.
I don't know. We had the conversation.
Let us know. Comment if we already talked about this, chat, because I'm actually not even sure.
I could be wrong.
I don't think we did,
Because
though.
I talked about it like 4 times that day with different people
No
in the
doubt.
office.
No
I just
doubt.
assumed one of them was on the show.
For sure. No, that's exciting, bro. I just hope we get at least a couple Saturday 2:00 kickoffs, bro. Like I hope these 2 Friday night games don't just start
You
a
better
trend.
start praying now, bro.
Cause damn, bro.
Would we get one of those last year, the Arizona game?
I did tweet that. Yes.
Yeah, I think that was it. And obviously Black Friday, the Oklahoma State game, but that was kind of weird, like 11 a.m.
Right, but that's like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not even doesn't really count. So
We'll see. I find it hard to be.
yeah, see, I know we didn't talk about it because I wanted to say
You guys aren't helping. Someone says I don't remember it on the show, then someone says I do. remember it.
I wanted to say that I can't wait for that Houston game because, and I wish Dion was here because that's what I wanted to say. Like Dion think they're gonna be cold, and I can't wait for that game for sure.
Fair. So I tweeted out my opinion on it, and I said that I love Friday games. And then someone responded to me and said, "Speak for yourself." I was like, "Who do you think I'm speaking for?" The account is attached to my name.
Oh my god.
We'll do recruiting tomorrow. Or at some point this week, I promise.
All right, this is why we needed Jake. They said no schedule talk. We didn't hit the notes.
Facts, yeah, I
we just
figured.
rambled on.
Bro, we were talking about it
Yeah, tell him.
before the show. I think were you right there where it was like me and Dre and Jigga right there. Where like Friday's show felt so weird. It was like I looked up when we were like 45 minutes in.
Yes.
And like we hadn't talked about anything, but it felt like we were covering a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
But it's like we didn't get to a lot of stuff we planned. But that show just like went by so fast. for
It
whatever
did.
reason.
I mean, I looked up and I was like, "Oh shit, we're already 6 minutes past the first break."
Literally.
Did you guys get in trouble for that?
No.
Like Dre had his Shedeur take, and like we didn't get to that until like the very end of the show, pretty much.
Can you pull up the Heisman thing, Alyssa?
Last thing on the. Oh, go ahead.
So we actually have a lot of Heisman stuff, and it's on sale. Specifically, if you purchase a bundle that's 2 items or more, you get an extra 10 to 15% off. But check out all our Heisman stuff over at, what's the site URL now?
Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Go check it out there. Get yourself some Travis Heisman merch.
That is. Some of those are my favorite shirts.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
The bottom right one that you're seeing in the lower third there is the shirt I think that we've ever made at DNVR that I get the most compliments on when I wear it. Because that gold, you just can't miss it.
Yep.
Pops.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
Oh, on the schedule. Don't we also have a third Friday night game scheduled against Kansas State?
That'd be the last game of the year, right? Like it was for this year, if that's the case.
I hadn't seen that.
I thought that there was already another Friday game that was announced at the beginning of when the schedule came out. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Nope, I'm seeing all Saturdays.
Okay.
Yep. All right, let's go to the Toyota chat.
Chatsky.
If I gave you the option to have every game of the season on Friday night right now, would you take it?
100%.
Scotty?
I wouldn't take that. Every game,
It'd
I
be
wouldn't take
selfish reasons.
Yeah, of course.
But yes.
Also, like
wouldn't
those are the most lit games too.
Yeah.
I will say that Folsom Field on at night, like that's almost guaranteed to be a movie every time.
Yes.
I mean, true.
Sometimes, can we have some games that aren't a movie this year?
Bro, that's how I felt like through like the halfway through last season. I'm like, this team is really not going to play a regular game all year.
They were
And then they
rolling
finally
for a
did-
bit, though.
They finally did like Arizona.
Yeah, they started blowing teams
Yeah.
out. But like up to that point, I'm like, wow, every game is going to be a nail biter. And
UCF,
that's-
I guess, but even that
Yeah,
one had its
man.
own like
right?
stressful moments.
It's true.
But Folsom Field games, especially
Right.
until the very end.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, that K-State game was stressful, but that's in like this like 6-game stretch of UCF dominating, K-State, and then Arizona dominating. Cincinnati, I don't think that was really score. Probably looks closer than that game actually was.
It was kind of grindy.
It was for sure.
Texas Tech early it was, choppy, but then the fourth quarter was
Right.
it was wrapped up.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And then Utah was the game after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Cam asked, is Shedeur still an option for the Raiders at 6 since they signed Geno Smith? We were going to put this in the show. I'm glad you brought it up.
We hope not.
No, baby. That boy is not an option for the Raiders at 6.
Yeah. I mean, never say never, but it just wouldn't make sense for Pete Carroll to, one, trade for now a quarterback that he had and then draft another one.
All right, let me just say this. Rewind 365 days ago. Is Michael Penix still an option for the Falcons at 8 after they just signed Kirk Cousins?
I mean, that's what I'm saying, though.
Well said, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I agree with you, but I also agree with Jake's never say never because some of these NFL teams do crazy shit.
Yep.
Don't we feel that? I don't know. Kirk was obviously coming off an injury. And even aside from that, don't we feel that Kirk at that point last year is closer to the edge than Geno to the end than Geno is now?
Yeah.
But y'all are right though. Never say never. Especially with Brady.
Geno
having
is
his say.
younger than Kirk, right?
Thing is, I just don't think
Has
that.
to be. Has to be.
Because Kirk was the RG3 draft. That was 12, and Geno was after that, I believe.
Think Geno at West Virginia feels like it was a really long time
I
ago.
know.
I feel like I was a child. Yeah. For sure.
I don't think that Shedeur at 6 was ever going to be an option for the Raiders. So
Well, when they hired Pete Carroll, to me, that was them saying, like,
Yeah. We're not doing
we're
that.
not
I agree.
restarting from scratch here.
I
yeah,
agree.
True.
We're trying to fast track it. Joshua with a similar question. Thoughts on Jets signing Justin Fields? And your opinion now about 2 going there. Scotty, you've been the Jets Shedeur guy. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, I love Justin Fields as a Bears fan. That was my guy. And I'm really excited to see him get some real guaranteed dollars in the starting spot for an NFL franchise. I think the Jets are a good fit for him. I think they're going to be nice this year.
Do you think that precludes them from drafting Shedeur?
Yes.
I don't.
Not Justin Fields, no, not at all.
I mean, they're not. I don't think they're going to take him with their first round pick. In terms, they're not going to take Shedeur with their first round pick, and obviously, they're not going to get him later than that. So I think it does preclude them from taking Shedeur. I don't think you give Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed and then take Shedeur with a top.
What's the contract?
top? Wait,
2
Justin's?
years for,
Yeah.
2 years. I think 40 mil, 30 million guaranteed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. It's
Boy
crazy.
got paid, and he deserved it too. My boy JF1 had to sit behind a bum last year all year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, tell him, let's go.
It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Justin from the ball with a good head coach, I believe, Aaron Glenn. Like I said, same thing I said for Shedeur. They got weapons. Like they got real talent. Like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, who obviously Justin played with at Ohio State. Like they're reuniting. That defense is going to be nice. Again, they got a defensive-minded head coach. Jets going to be nice.
All right.
Said no one ever.
Chris is asking, when do we get to hear from the coaching staff? This week. We're going back to Boulder tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll be back there on Thursday. Coordinators tomorrow, and then I think some of the new coaches on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we're going to overtime, so head on over to thednvr.com to catch the tail end of the show. You guys
Super chats?
excited? Huh?
Did we get all the super chats already?
Not yet, but
Okay.
aren't you excited to be back in Boulder, though, this week?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Just everything just feels like it's happening at once.
Yeah.
NFL free agency, spring ball's back.
Yeah.
We got a Die Hard sale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Buffs basketball playing in the Big 12 tourney tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna win the whole damn thing. Screw it. Why not?
A lot of stuff going on. They're kind of rolling right
Played
now.
our
like you
best
said.
game of the year.
Quite literally.
Oh, man.
I'm watching tomorrow. What time's the game?
I think it's on during our show, if I'm not mistaken,
Bet it'll be
All
on
right,
the screen.
throw it up.
or right around that.
That's good luck. That's the way the UConn game was.
That is true. All right, East Coast Kev, what's up, man? First super chat says,
Kev.
congrats to Eddie George on becoming head coach of Bowling Green.
Facts.
It's happening more and more with former athletes getting head coaching jobs, with Coach Brian being the catalyst. I wonder who's next.
Eddie was just at
Middle Tennessee.
for just the 1 year, right? 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Bowling Green. Did they
He
just?
got interviewed by the Bears for their head coaching
He
job.
did.
I remember that.
Did what happened to Bowling Green's coach? They just fire him now, or they just been waiting
I thought he.
all
No, I
this
think he
time for a
left.
coach?
I think he left.
Okay.
For a position
On a
coach
NFL
elsewhere.
coaching stuff.
Or I
Okay.
think it was just either NFL or it might have been just like a top tier college football program.
Okay.
Next one says, Scott, you're on pause for today. Jake's shower tools are none of your business. Oh, boy. Speaking of pause, did Coach Suck, Pull, and Drop arrive in Boulder, Colorado yet? Salute DNVR.
Hey, speaking of suck, pull, and drop. Bro, I was at the crib. I was back in Chicago last weekend for the first time in a while. And my pops made a seafood boil with sweet potatoes in it as an ode to our boy Warren Sapp. Oh, my God.
Damn. He was cooking.
Oh, my God. Shout out Sapp first off for the idea. But shout out to my pops for the execution because boy, was that the best seafood boil I ever had. And I will never eat another seafood boil without
Wow.
sweet potatoes in it. He had sweet potato and the regular potatoes in it. You feel me? The shrimp, you feel me? The crab legs in there, the corn. Oh, my God. It was so fire.
Bro, you were telling us that your dad is like that in the kitchen.
I promise
And then you sent us that picture and I was like, oh, like, this isn't just like he's cooking the standard stuff.
No. He's way past standard. I ain't gonna lie.
He's pulling out all the stops.
For sure.
East Coast Kev again. Darius from Recent People has posted the first team meeting with Coach Faulk. For those who don't know, this is a special type of coaching staff. 3 Hall of Famers on staff. Legendary. Facts.
Amen. 3 Hall of Famers on 1 college football coaching staff.
Doesn't even seem real. When you
I
say
wonder
it.
what the record is.
This has
Was
to
it
be-
1?
It has to be the record.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Like, did we already break the record last year? And now
Maybe.
we broke our own record?
Probably. Can you think of any other like Hall of Fame coach?
I mean, I don't think there's ever been an NFL Hall of Famer that was a head coach at Power 5 before Coach Prime.
I can't think of none.
Some quarterback? I can't think of any.
Can't think of none, dog.
Yep. Colorado wins the record.
Let's go. Congratulations to us.
Print the
stamp
shirts.
on it. Anything else for today, boys?
Oh, man.
It's good to be back. I'll say that.
Good to have you back.
Football tomorrow. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Oh my lord.
We made it, fellas.
Almost
almost.
made it. It's a bit of a tease, but I'm excited
is.
for it.
Gives us something new to talk about. We made it through arguably the hardest part of the offseason.
I mean, basically, we're at the
Probably.
summer now, bro. Because this will take us through to the draft,
Yep.
which is the week after spring football. After that, we're in May, and it's just 2 more months basically after that, and we're fall camp. We're getting there. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Shout
Go
out
Buffs.
Buffs.
Go Buffs.
Squad.
We all silly like the mayor.